I recently met a man called Ben James. Folk called him by either name. He didn't seem to mind, because to him it was all the same. He was a travelling man who ran a small business from his wood-burning home, where trinkets filled windowsills, spilling the treasures of a real-life trove. I was there to inquire about aluminium sheets. Ben reckoned I'd need a piece 6 by 4 feet, and that he knew a man down the street that might have some, only he was away till Thursday. So with business under wraps, we sat and chatted, drinking tea well into the cup of a different story. Still can't place his accent. I know it held a kind undertone, but imagined how in his day he was tall and proud, with hands that could swing fists of glory on the few who dared to mess with his best interests. But I sensed he was a good man, a man of service. We drank our tea and Ben shared his story. It was a tale of the sea. He told me how it was deep and blue, swelling in the belly of a once solid ship now rocked upon the waves of a ticking clock. Yet in its day, this ship had sailed in many waters, trading riches in gain of a cargo filled with the gold of every line engraved upon a folding map, for the ship had begun to sway. The storm had hit, the sea crept in, but the ship didn't sink, refusing to cash in on the last of its golden cargo as the waves crashed in. For this ship was a merchant ship, still with the pride to ride the waves that rocked upon the seabed, trading with a captain's smile till the ship would dip its graceful bow. So for now, this ship was still in business. Ben's story was interrupted for a second time by a man calling to buy a Peugeot 405, just like mine. We laughed as Ben gave me the eye to name my best price with a smile that welcomed consideration. He laughed with the man on the phone, then ended the conversation. But by this time the clock chime was ticking on an empty teacup, and Ben said his friend would soon be over for supper, so it was probably time to go. However, there was just one other thing that I was curious to know. As Ben had shared his story, I'd become intrigued by a jug on the mantelpiece. It weaved a picture of a lily in the waves, with a wise old man with arms outstretched to welcome in the sun rays. So I asked Ben if he'd ever been to Japan. He said no, he'd just bought it from a man that he used to know and just liked to have it on show, as something about it reminded him of the olden days. I just smiled and said, oh. I thanked Ben for sharing his story and his time, gathered up the empty cups as the clock ticked another chime, and told Ben not to come out in the cold, just rest inside. But we'd made it as far as half a conversation with the neighbours when I heard a quiet shout. So I turned about, and there was Ben, frail and stooped at the gate, waving an open hand with a smile that just beckoned me back over his way. So I went. He placed his hand on mine and said in a kind undertone, "Don't forget to call me on Thursday." I didn't get to see Ben again that journey, but I often wondered about the merchant ship rocked upon the waves of the seabed, when a few days ago I received a message that simply read, "The ship has dipped its graceful bow." It wasn't from Ben James though. His signal was out of reach. Riding high upon the crest of a new wave of light, trading a captain's smile with the blessings to remind us all about the simple treasures of life.